All right, we're back again. This is the part deuce of sociology. By now, you should have watched the first video lecture. You should have read about in the industrial, post-industrial world. And now I'm just going to kind of summarize this for you to make sure that it's all sunk into the soft matter of your head. This is the last thing that you should do for today and head out for the weekend. Bring up the slides here. Industrialism. Okay, this whole concept about social structure and the status and rights and obligations that go with it, okay, are further complicated by industrialism. Okay, in class yesterday we talked about what school you're going to go to, right? Harvard is different than Oregon State. Iowa is different than Minnesota. Doctors are different than plumbers. Not saying one is better than the other, but there are just different opinions about them. They carry different status. They're thought of differently. Okay, there's reasons for that, and that's what we're looking at here today. All right, the reason why there wasn't a whole lot of difference in the status of the very limited social structures that existed in the pre-industrial societies, hunting and gathering, okay, pastoral, all right, horticultural. They're all kind of doing the same thing. They're all just trying to get food to survive. Everyone can do those jobs. Is there some difference between mom and dad and son and daughter? I'm sure there are, but not significant. Not like today when you look at a person who works at McDonald's and a person who is, the president of Wells Fargo. Industrialization really puts added emphasis on the different statuses that people have based on where they are in the structure. By the time we get into the 1700s in Europe and the 1800s in the United States, or the end of the 1800s in the United States, there is clearly difference between top and bottom in our society, in our social structure. Okay, and it all comes down to what people are doing and what people can do. All right. Everyone can walk around the woods and find some twigs and berries to eat to survive during the hunting and gathering stage. And I'm sure many of us could figure out how to farm, even if we've never been outside before. Not so hard to dig a hole in the ground and put some seeds in. We all can do that. My point is when we figured out how to mass produce food, that allowed some of us to really heighten our sense and our skills on very specific fields. And when people were able to heighten and specify their skills in very certain areas, that led to a significant amount of, division of labor, sure, but separation between the haves and the have-nots. I mean, think about it. How many professional athletes are there? How many professional entertainers are there? How many doctors are there? Compare that to how many school teachers are there? How many gas station attendants are there? What the Industrial Revolution allowed people to do was to further diversify and go into very special fields. And it's all good, right? This is what we call human advancement. We used to not have medicine. Being able to plant food and provide food in abundance allowed us to work on medicine. It allowed us to work on science. But at the same time, it developed the haves and the have-nots. Okay, a couple of terms here. The first couple of terms, this Ferdinand Tönnies, obviously he's a German sociologist, right? He has the Gemeinschaft and the Gesellschaft, right? He's talking about the Gemeinschaft, the community, right, versus the Gesellschaft, society. What he's talking about as we got farther away from agriculture, as we got farther away from communal farming, community farming, all right, we became larger in diversity, we became larger in size. We're no longer a community, we're a society. And think about this. We have our own little school community. All right, Simley School Community is a part of a larger society that could be the Inver Grove Heights School District, or the city of Inver Grove, or Dakota County, or the state of Minnesota. Okay, as we became more technologically advanced and people got very special skills or figured out very special skills or developed very special skills, we became less connected to one another. We had less in common with one another, right? We shift from that family community-based collection of people to a very spread out, very disconnected, unconnected society. All right. Emile Durkheim does the same thing. Her terms are very complicated, right? We've got mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity. All right, mechanical solidarity, like a machine, everything is very, very close in proximity. Everything works together. Okay. That's how she would describe the pre-industrial world. Everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's got it down. Everyone's got the routine. It all just clicks together. Boom, 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 boom. All right. The organic solidarity. She's called it that because she's basically breaking it down or explaining it as an organism, right? Our bodies all got things going on. Our face, right, makes us look good. Okay. Our eyes allow us to see. Our ears allow us to hear. Our bum allows us to go boom, boom. Okay. Everything's got a process, but there's some disconnect. Everyone's doing their own thing. All right. That's what she's talking about there. That's where those terms come into play. We just need to understand that industrialization, okay, allowed us a further diversified field of labor. We each got our own jobs. The jobs that are most appreciated, that have the highest status, are the jobs that the fewest people can do. The ones with the finite amount of skill. Well, the people on the bottom of the social structure, okay, which almost could be performed by an infinite amount of people because they do not require a very specific set of skills. After industrialization, after industrialism, we have the post-industrial society. And this is where, just like before, it gets even worse. Because when we get into the post-industrial society, what we have here are very much economies and industries that are based on intelligence, the ability to process information. So now it's not so much building, now it's not so much construction, now it's not so much manufacturing, it's what we can process in our heads. And if you go back and you look at industrialization definitely created the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots. Now that the manufacturing or the industrialism is gone, we still have this group of people here that have a lot of money that can send their kids to school to do these service jobs that I'm talking about: medicine, healthcare, finance, science, technology, whatever it is. The poorer people that were doing manufacturing jobs, now they've got an issue because their jobs are gone and they got to figure out a way to send their kids. They got to figure out a way to send themselves to school so they can retool themselves so they can do these service industry jobs. It complicates the matter. The division of labor is very spread out. It creates haves and have-nots. All right. That's why certain positions have certain thoughts about them. All right. Make sure the reading guides for chapter 5 are turned in. On Monday, we'll kind of touch base, circle up. Hopefully I can clear up any confusion here if you have any, and then we'll go on to chapter 6. Have a great weekend. As always, go Spartans.